Thanks for joining me for today's video about creating the right environment for learning transfer. Most people think when they hear this topic that I'm going to be talking about creating the right culture, getting the managers on board, and a whole host of variables across the organisation that will support learning transfer. Whatever your role is within the learning transfer process, it's important to consider how you can impact the environment. The environment for learning transfer can work on so many different levels that it's often hard to know where to start. So when I'm thinking about how to control the environment for learning transfer, I want to section it into areas that we can really control. And what we can control is the learning transfer conversations that happen. And it's actually these conversations that will impact the bigger picture learning transfer environment. And often if you get the conversations right, people overcome challenges that they have in the external environment that you, either as the manager or the L&D person, have no control over. So how can you control this environment, the environment that you have the conversation in? Well, firstly, it's important to get away from the desk and to set it aside as a separate conversation. The minute you add it onto an agenda as the last point on a regular meeting, you're creating an environment where the learning transfer conversation is jumbled in with other ideas and other actions. What you need to do is to really be able to control that environment is separate it from the everyday work. So get away from the desk, take it off your general agendas and actually have a focused conversation. It's equally important that within the environment for the conversation there's no distractions. So for me this means getting away from desks. So you need to get away from your regular computer or get your participant away from their regular computer so you can have a conversation where you can focus on the learning transfer conversation itself. When I'm talking about no distractions, I often entitle it no distractions or devices. And by devices obviously we mean the mobile phones, the iPads, the laptops. Just have a conversation, whether this is face-to-face or on the phone, essentially away from the desks. And finally, within this conversation, set the agenda up front that you're going to be talking specifically about learning transfer, that the person needs to bring with them their action plan, that the conversation is going to take place for 30 minutes, and you're going to aim to have some clear outcomes from the conversation. The clearer you can be about setting the agenda for learning transfer in that environment, the easier it will be to manage that conversation. So you've set yourself up for a successful conversation by managing some elements of the environment. One of the really key things you can manage about the environment when you get into the conversation is how the conversation starts. A lot of the time people don't know how to begin a learning transfer conversation, so they put off having that conversation. But a really clear signpost at the beginning of the session will help set you off on the right track. So a typical frame-up for a learning transfer conversation, actually in the conversation itself, might be something like, John, great that we've managed to find 30 minutes today to talk specifically about learning transfer and how you're getting on with your actions from the training program. We're going to start today by looking at your action plan, and then when we've looked at the progress you've made so far, we're going to look at the barriers that are holding you back from moving to the next level. So let's look at your action plan. Where would you like us to start today? So hopefully today I've given you a new perspective on how you can manage the environment for learning transfer, and not to get so concerned about the big picture environment, but think about the environment you can create within the conversations yourselves to get the highest level of success from your learning transfer. If you'd like to talk to us more about the learning transfer environment, please do give us a call. It would be great to hear from you.